Hi, welcome back to my channel. So this week I am going to be making a DIY corner hideaway made of fleece and cotton fabric. So the top will be cotton and the little hang downs will be fleece. It's gonna look kind of like this. When it's done, this will be the top and this will hang in the corner of the cage like this. I will show a picture and that's what we're going to do today. So I will put the materials that you will need to do this and the instructions in the video. I will be honest, this was a little bit more difficult than I anticipated it being. It actually wasn't too hard, but it definitely was a little bit more challenging than some of the hammocks and stuff that I've made. All in all, it turned out pretty good. I like it. I actually made this for a friend of mine for her guinea pigs, but I'm going to be making one for my ferrets as well. So if you like this video, please click the like button and please subscribe to my channel. And without further ado, let's get started. So I have placed my cotton pieces together. I'm measuring 14.5 inches down each side, 20.5 inches across, and then I'm going to cut the fabric. So for extra softness, I added a piece of fleece in between my two pieces of cotton. You could also use a piece of batting. I just happen to have an extra piece of fleece. Next, I'm cutting my rectangle piece of fleece. It's going to be 20 inches across and 12 inches in height. By the time it's complete, after you take in seam allowances, your height's going to end up at around 11.5 inches. You could make this as long as you choose. It depends on how high you're going to hang it in your cage and where you want your bottom pieces to fall once it's hanging. So now I've taken my triangle pieces and I've put them right sides together. And on the back side of one of them, I have placed that extra piece of fleece, or maybe batting if that's what you chose to use. Sew both sides where you pin. Now you're going to want to go back and you want to flip this up and you just want to sew this piece to your white piece, not this, just this. So if you want to put some pins in it, you can just stick some little pins in there. And there's a reason for this in the end. Alright, so we're just going to sew the white piece and this piece. And this we're going to roll back. So this is where it gets a little bit tricky. You need to take your pink piece and fold it. I tried to show you how I did mine. I also put a picture so that you could see. Basically, we need to take this pink piece and fold it, leaving about a half inch or so at the bottom that's not folded. that is the part that's going to be pinned onto the triangle so that we can sew this pink piece. We don't want to sew the whole pink piece because obviously those will be the pieces that will be hanging down in the end. After you have your pink piece or your fleece piece pinned, you're going to want to place it up inside your triangle. And you want to get all the pieces that are pinned, you want them away from where you're going to sew because you don't want to accidentally sew those pieces. That's why I pinned my pieces, so that they would be out of the way when I was sewing. This was honestly one of the hardest parts because it was just difficult to make sure that everything was out of the way. So I just want to make it clear that this was not easy. It may take a little fidgeting around. You may have to play with it a little bit. Inevitably, I was able to get it. It definitely took me playing with it and messing with it for quite a while before I got it to where I felt I could sew it and not accidentally sew the pieces that are supposed to hang down. Now that your fleece piece is safely tucked inside of your triangle, you're going to want to pin it together. Pin the bottom. You're going to want to leave a 2-inch space so that you can pull everything through. Make sure that you're not sewing the part that you tucked up inside the triangle. If you sew that, you will not be able to pull it back through in the end. So now that you're done sewing that all together, you're going to want to clip your corners just so that you can get any excess fabric off the corners so you can pop them out and they can look nice. All right, so now you're going to pull your fleece inside out. Just remember there's a pin in here. You have a pin on the inside. Just be careful. Next, you're going to want to stick your hand in, or your finger, or a pen, or something, and just pop out all of your corners. So next, you're going to need to fix that little space that we left open to pull the fabric through. Basically, just tuck it up underneath of there, and then you're going to want to pin it. So just you should have a little bit of a seam where you'll see it. It'll automatically kind of be folding in on itself. That's kind of what you want. So tuck up your little pink piece and line it up the best that you can with the part that is sewn. Put a pin in it, and then we're going to take it over to the sewing machine and sew it shut. Now we're going to measure 2 inches from the bottom of your triangle. We're going to use this as a guide to where we're going to stop cutting our lines. So I was going to go less, but I ended up going 2 inches. I thought that was a good length. So I use this as a guide, and I'm not going to cut higher than where that ruler is placed right now. So now I'm going to cut 2-inch wide strips. I happen to have a 2-inch wide ruler. However, you can make these strips as thick or as thin as you choose. This is your project. So it's up to you and it's up to what you like. I decided to go 2 inches. I used a rotary cutter to cut my strips so that the lines would be really straight. As a result, my rotary cutter didn't reach the ruler, so I'm just finishing the little slits right now. If you use scissors, you could obviously skip this step because you wouldn't have to worry about this. Now we're going to use grommets. And we're gonna put here, here, and here. So some people are a little intimidated by grommets. It's actually pretty easy. You just need to have a hammer and a little tool. You can buy an automatic grommet tool. I just use this method. It's actually not that difficult. I will show you in the video how to do it. So before hammering in your grommet, what you're going to need to do is take the back piece, which is the piece that's thicker and has a little bit more metal on it. And you're going to want to kind of place your grommets where you want them in your fabric. Once you've done that, you're going to want to cut a hole, a very tiny little slit, just enough to pop the grommet through. Make sure that you are kind of checking where they're going to end up, because you don't want them laying on your seams, or you don't want to cut the hole and then have it somewhere placed where you don't want it. So you'll see that I am cutting a little hole and kind of putting the grommets in place before I take this outside to hammer it. Bottom. Get your piece on top. And that's it. You got grommets. Now I'm going to take these. Got from Walmart. Congratulations, this is the final product. I used one of our baby gates to hang this up because it's going to a friend. I didn't want to put it in my ferret cage because they would use it and then it would smell like ferrets, and that's not a very nice gift to give away.